you are into video games and video game news, you've come to the right place. Who am I, you ask? I am the Wiz! New week means new game releases and a few news stories, but why don't we get started with what I've been playing? And that is Cassette Beasts. It's the Steam Summer Sale going on right now. But what I usually do is buy games I'm interested in for a while that come up dirt cheap, like $5 or less. And while I did that, I actually took the plunge in a game that is getting really good word of mouth and decent reviews called Cassette Beasts. This is a game that plays a lot like Pokemon, but looks like Earthbound if it were in 3D, sort of? I've been looking for games that subvert the Pokemon formula. I fell hard on Temtem when it just didn't seem to grab me. Though I liked Monster Sanctuary quite a bit, I haven't actually gone back to play it in a while. I might go back to it at some point. And since the actual Pokemon games aren't really redefining the formula or doing anything interesting, I've had to go into the indie space to get my fix. Enter Cassette Beasts. This game has a similar turn-based engine, but with some twists. Instead of releasing your monsters, you become them and are able to switch. You also don't catch your monsters, you record them. Your Pokeballs are tapes in the game where you record and copy the monsters that you're going against in order to then turn into them. The battle system is very similar, but there is slight twists that come across about an hour plus into playing the game. This twist is called fusing. And fusing is basically you and your partner fuse into your two monsters together into a mega monster. And while I haven't played around with this yet, I'm interested in seeing where it goes from there. As for the aesthetics, it gives off an 80s neon vibe, which is kind of charming in this, but what I really like is the music in this game. It fits the mood and the style of the game really well. And I will be playing this more, and you can expect this on a Thing in the Backlog segment coming soon. And now let's get into the news from July 1st to July 3rd, and we're going to start with that Daedelic. The developer of Lord of the Rings GOLLUM is ceasing all game production after the disastrous reception of GOLLUM. This will result in about 25 employees losing their job. Daedelic will be moving toward doing publishing, marketing, and sales, which is what they were doing before as well. It's important to note that GOLLUM wasn't Daedelic's first developed game. In the past, they've developed the Deponia series, as well as Ken Follett's Pillars of the Earth. And those games do have a small fan base. They were really only minor hits, which was probably what led to Daedelic taking a swing at a big budget property like Lord of the Rings with their GOLLUM game. And while it looks like the Lord of the Rings GOLLUM will be crowned worst game of the year this year by many reviewers, I still can't fault them for trying to step up into doing more developing like this. But unfortunately, it looks like they will stick to publishing more work from independent studios moving forward. And the final story is that Disney Speedstorm will be launching free-to-play in September. Speedstorm is currently available early access via purchase, where you can get specific unlocks and goodies at different prices. But it's kind of surprising it's coming so soon, especially since some have complained about balance issues with the game itself. Speedstorm seems to be successful in its early access phase thus far, which will likely carry over into its release phase in September, where it will be interesting to see exactly what the pricing will be when it comes out. And now we're going to the new releases. We have two games that are coming out. One's a port and one's a new release. And let's get to the port right away. And that is Guilt, the survival horror game that came out on Stadia a couple of years ago, that is now being released on all systems except Switch on July 6th. I haven't heard many reviews of this game, really. I haven't heard much of anything at all in this game, but unfortunately, it was a Stadia exclusive, so maybe there will be some good word of mouth for this game when it comes out. I am not sure. I'm also not a survival horror fan, so that's me. So if you're interested in that, check that out. It's coming July 6th. And the big new release this week is probably going to be one that fans of RPGs are going to be really into, and that's The Legend of Heroes: Trails into Reverie. PS5, PS4, Switch, PC, coming July 7th. This is the last game of the Crossbell saga, and as such is the last game in the Trails of the Sky series and the Trails into... I forgot what the name of that... But it's considered the Crossbell saga for those games. I think it was Trails into... Oh, God. There's so many of these Legend of Heroes games. I forget the name, but people have been looking forward to the Crossbell saga being ported over to the States, and I think this is the final one that's coming July 7th. So there's a devoted fan base who are going to pick that up right away. I can't get into the Crossbelt or the Trails of the Sky or the Legend of Heroes series because there's so damn many of them. I tried getting into the first Trails in the Sky, and I kind of fell. And then I was like, all right, you know what, let me do Trails of Cold Steel, which I fell off of as well. They look good. They look fun, but I just fall off of them for some reason. So that's coming July 7th. You probably already know that if you're interested in it, so it's coming around that time. And with that, that is the end of the Gaming News Roundup, and that is the end of this episode of I Am The Wiz. On July 4th, Zero and I will be reviewing Glory, starring Matthew Broderick, Carrie Elways, and Denzel Washington. And Wednesday, another Gaming News Roundup. And until then, I am The Wiz, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.